while I do love Jim Davis and his Rangers shirt, it's hard for me to pick against Tyler now since his support of my favorite sports team. But we'll see how the cards do play out here.
We saw Jim Davis win in the last round there, narrowly edging out Ryan Hipp for the last spot in the top 8. Playing against Tyler Winn. Tyler won our very first match of the day to jump into first place in the standings over Jasper Johnson-Epstein and never let go of it. It was first place for the entire day on Sunday.
Well, it looks like Winn's going to take a mulligan here. We'll see if he can find a better 6. And Davis taking a long look at his opening hand, but it looks like he's happy with what he has.
Davis will be happy to be up 2 cards. Tyler has some dead things in his deck also, game 1. He has cards like 3 copies of Valorous Stance, 3 copies of Lightning Strike. He's going to be hard-pressed to get good value out of that. Even the Ojutai's commands, which are 4 of in both players' deck, I'd expect to be stronger out of Jim Davis's deck. He has a lot more creatures to counter, and the counter draw mode should be pretty relevant. For Tyler, he's going to be using his defensively to maybe bring creatures back and draw a card, but that one certainly not as universal.
Tyler going to take another mulligan here. So down to 5 cards he's going to go.
And that'll definitely hurt him. Jim's deck cares about card advantage. So being able to start the game on +3 cards looks great to him.
Winn doesn't look thrilled with the opening hand, but he's going to keep it. These players will get the green light, and Tyler will start things off here in just a moment to kick off our quarterfinals here from Milwaukee.
Yeah, there are lands and spells in Tyler's hand. That's a plus, but I don't know how much payoff he actually has. Looks like he has a uncastable Mantis Rider in the start.
Davis picks up a Jace for his first draw step. Does have a Temple of Enlightenment to kick things off, so perhaps he'll start there, and he will. Time for Jim to scry. Take a look at the top card. It'll stay on top, and we're going to head back Tyler Winn's way.
Yeah, big draw for Tyler. So his keep was Jace, Valorous Stance, Mantis Rider. Great cards, but it was plains. So he needed to hit a red or blue mana on his first draw, which is turn 2. He would have preferred it to come into play untapped, but Temple of Epiphany is still a great draw for him. It means he'll get to at least play Magic.
Mystic Monastery the draw, so mana coming together here for Winn.
It'd be interesting if he goes for Jace here. He could have played the Plains to play around Clash of Wills. Looks like he's just going to play Mystic Monastery, though. He'll get last breathed.
Got to get that Jace off the battlefield. That's exactly what Davis will do. He'll give Tyler Winn some life. And hostility is the draw here for Davis. Does he have a third land, I suppose, is the question.
Yeah, I'm not sure Davis does. And this is a window for Tyler. It's a small one, but it could work. Jim's plan is to just trade cards and eventually play Elspeth. We saw him execute that to a T in round 15. He made it look easy. Now, one thing that Tyler could seize upon is that if Jim misses land drops, maybe Jim won't be able to trade cards, and Tyler can get out ahead with a creature for long enough that he gets Jim's life total low.
Mantis Rider going to get taken care of by Clash of Wills as Davis will draw a card. It's a copy of Temple of Enlightenment.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like there's actually a land or spell problem for Jim. You see 2 blue-white temples in his hand. So as long as he makes these land drops and continues to trade, which it looks like he'll be able to do, it should be Jim cruising through game 1.
Top card going to go to the bottom here from the scry. And Davis does have a Jace that he can deploy, and he will.
Yeah, he has Jace, he has an End Hostilities, he has an Elspeth.
Temple of Triumph the draw here for Winn, and he is conceding the game because he cannot beat a Jace right now. So Jim Davis will win game number 1 here over Tyler Winn. Winn going to go to the sideboard very quickly, picking up his cards. Not happy with how that game went at all.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler had no more threats, so it was just going to be land go. In the face of a Jace and a full grip from Jim, it seems so unlikely that he could win. See Tyler just packing that one in early.
Well, take a look at the sideboards here from both players. Winn will be on the play. He's got 2 Anger of the Gods, 3 Disdainful Strokes, an Elspeth Sun's Champion, a Glare of Heresy, or Revoke Existence, 2 Master of the Unseen, a Narset Transcendent, 2 Negate, and 2 Rending Volley. So actually a lot of good options here against a blue-white deck.
Yeah, I really like his sideboard. So let's talk about some of the great cards he has. The 2 Mastery of the Unseen and the 1 Narset Transcendent are all excellent threats against a blue-white deck. Those are kind of cards that if Jim doesn't answer, they can go the distance. Jim has narrow answers to them. He can glare them and Blanishing Light them, and that's about it, as long as they don't get countered. So I like these extra Narsets and Masteries. In addition, Negate and Glare of Heresy on Tyler's side both look really good as well. Glare can take care of Banishing Lights. It can take care of Elspeths. And Negate, I mean, Jim's whole deck is spells, so I have to imagine he'll want that.
Well, there are some other things here for Jim. 3 Arashan Clerics, a Disdainful Stroke, 2 Glare of Heresy, a Last Breath, 2 Master of the Unseen of his own, 2 Negates, a Pearlic Ancient, a Revoke Existence, a Soulfire Grandmaster, and a Valorous Stance. Nice here for Jim to know exactly what Tyler's working with, so he knows to bring in a card like Revoke Existence.
That was exactly what I was going to point on. So in the dark, Jim would board in card Glare of Heresy just because it's good against a Jeskai deck. He'd board in the extra Last Breath because Jeskai has a decent amount of low end. Now that he knows there are cards like Mastery's coming in, Narset coming in. He may go towards something like Negate or Revoke Existence. These are narrower cards that you don't always see out of him. But if he's all Jim cares about is that, one, his cards are never left dead in his hand, that they're able to trade, and two is that he at least has one card that can trade with just about anything Tyler does. So these cards that are, Negate trades with a lot of things, Revoke trades with some of the more problematic things, I think he'll want access to each of those post-board.
Well, those are the options there for both players, and we'll see how they elect to sideboard. Again, both players have access to each other's deck list, so they know exactly what each other is working with. Game number 2 will be underway here in just a moment, where Tyler Winn will be on the play. We'll take a look now at the Season 4 leaderboard. For those of you just joining us, you'll find that Kevin Jones is at the top of it, but the trophy next to his name means that he's already qualified for our Players' Championship. So, for Season 4, we're giving away, of course, the Season Champion leader, which would be Gerard Fabiano if we ended things today, and then 7 at large bids. So the 7 players with the most points at the end of this season will qualify for our Players' Championship. Right now, that's Hunter Nance, Jonathan Morowski, Todd Anderson, Ross Merriam, Eric Hawkins, Chris Van Meter, and then one more, which you'll find on the second page, is Joe Lissette, who did fly out here from Redlands, California to do battle. Jim Davis, well, he's already qualified for the tournament, but he's preparing for next year. Make sure that he's still in the top 16, has got 2 buys to work with. But as you can see, the race here is pretty fluid.
Absolutely. So big finishes in this weekend. Joe Lissette and Matthew Tickle were in attendance. They picked up 3 points. Caleb Schurer went down on day 1, so just 1 point for him. And if you go onto the extended leaderboard, the big finish of the weekend, a top 16 finish for Chris Anderson. That's him 8 open points. And that will pull him from that 132 into 140. It's going to get him very close to getting up onto that first page, and maybe we need to start talking about him.
Yeah, this is his 9th top 16 here. He's top 8 a lot of opens as well, and I know we're going to see him 2 weeks from now because the Open Series is going to Indianapolis, and that's his hometown, so he's going to be there. Now, he doesn't get to sleeve up Green Red Devotion. He's going to have to brew just like everybody else, and now, it's very clear that Chris has a grasp on this format, but what's the next standard format going to look like? That is the big question, so we'll find that out 2 weeks from now. But for this tournament, as these players get ready here for game number 3, as far as what they're playing for here this weekend, first place, as we say many times here during the broadcast, $5,000, 25 Open Series points, an invite to that Season 4 Invitational in Las Vegas. Second place, $2,000, 20 Open Series points, an invite to our Season 4 Invitational, and so on and so forth. At the very least, these players are walking out here with $500 and 10 Open Series points, and we'll see who walks away with that big prize. Right now, Jim Davis is ahead in his quarterfinal matchup, and we'll see if he can close it out in just 2 games. But Tyler Winn, who's had a great tournament here, is looking to tie things up. He's got some great options to do so.
Yeah, boy, has blue-white control looked great this weekend. Now, of course, Tyler was on a mulligan that game, so it's not completely representative, but we've watched Jim Davis play this. We've watched Michael Burnett play this. They both have yet to have a close game on camera. They're just steamrolling opponents. They could meet in the semifinals if they both win their quarters.
Yeah, we could have a blue-white control mirror on one side and a mono-red aggro mirror on the other side. We'll see how things do break down for both players. But that's definitely something that could happen here in the future.
Yeah, I think the big unknown in our top 8 is Sam Bratz and his Sultai control deck, Demonic Pacts. I don't really know how it matches up against the field.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. He's in the top 8, so clearly he's matched up pretty well in the first 15 rounds that he's played, but once he runs into a player like Burnett here, who he's playing against in the quarterfinals, playing blue-white control, and he's had a wonderful tournament, number 4 overall seed, and a lot of accomplishments on his resume, we'll see how that Sultai deck does line up.
Interesting.
For these 2 players here, as we have mentioned, Winn, number 1 overall seed, did win a standard open during Season 2 of the Open Series last year when we did go to Knoxville. Got the job done with Byrne, actually beat Byrne in the finals in a Byrne mirror in Knoxville. That top 8 did not take very long at all. And then for Jim Davis, a lot of Open Series success, playing the Players' Championship, has invitational top 8s as well, and he's going back to the Players' Championship this year after winning the Season 1 points championship.
Yeah. I do like Tyler's sideboard, though, for the matchup. The card I'm most excited to see is Narset Transcendent. We have not seen her much at all in Standard. But as decks like blue-white control get more popular, I would expect to see more of this kind of card. It's very good against the blue-white deck.
I think we'll be seeing it a lot after rotation. It's incredibly powerful. I think it's being a little overshadowed right now with the cards that are available, but that card is so powerful. And there are a lot of good spells in the new format.
Yeah, it is interesting to see a straight blue-white control deck like Jim's that still opts, no Narset Transcendent, no Dragon Lord Ojutai. There's some really powerful 2-color options that just didn't make the cut for this strategy.
Yeah, I foresee tap out blue-white to be a thing. So Shaheen Sarani, get your cards ready, because I think that's a good place for him to be. I know Shaheen loves Esper. I think everyone knows that at this point, but we could see him just play blue-white as we're underway here in game number 2.
The weekend after Narset came out, we did see Shaheen rebounding Dig Through Times.
Yep. Temple of Enlightenment. Davis will scribe the top card to the bottom. Winn will draw. It's an island, and now it's a Soulfire Grandmaster.
Be interesting to see how this plays out post-board. Both players seem to be full up on lands. Jim's just going to remember, he just parries. He needs to keep pace with the plays that Tyler makes.
It's an island there for Davis, and we head back Winn's way. Mantis Rider the draw. Mantis Rider will be the play. We'll see if it does resolve. And it appears that it will. So Winn is going to come across here for 5.
Yeah, dissolve and dig in Jim's hand. None of those will help. He would be looking for something like a Last Breath or a Clash of Wills, but as it looks like he has neither of those, he's going to be taking 5. This does not look good for him.
It's not a great start here for Davis. It is a very good start here for Winn, however. He's got the lead, he's got some life back as well, so not much to be unhappy about.
Well, there's advantages and disadvantages to blue-white. I think the advantage is your cards are very redundant. They all cost 2 and 3. They're interchangeable in a lot of ways. You know, we talk about there's a lot of different cards you could have to answer in any situation. So flexibility is great. The downside is that once Jim gets behind, because all his cards more or less do the same thing, at least all their removal spells, you know, you look at this board and you say, oh, well, Jim, maybe he could have 2 kill spells. And I say, well, there's not actually 2 kill spells that even line up to deal with this. You know, he's kind of locked into taking damage.
Evolving Wilds is the land there for Davis. Winn going to come across for 5 more. Davis again does not have a removal spell, so he falls down to 5 already.
Yeah, he has a dissolve up, but Tyler's not going to play another creature into that.
Yeah, Winn very smart by not playing his Mantis Rider that turn.
Yeah, he could be playing into end hostilities, which he certainly wouldn't want to do. He has lethal attackers on board, and Jim has not shown an ability to deal with them. In your Winn situation, there's no reason to move.
Davis searches up a Plains. Now he'll draw. Found a Clash of Wills.
Tons of counter magic, but he can't answer the board very well, and we may just be going to game 3 off that.
Yeah, got too far behind. He didn't play a copy of Flooded Strand, passed the turn back. Winn picked up a Mystic Monastery.
Jim's hand 2 Elspeths, 2 Dissolves, a Clash of Wills, and a Dig Through Time. Great cards, but none of them answer permanents.
Now Winn has to ask the question of, do I want to deploy a Mantis Rider here?
Well, the danger to playing Mantis Rider would be if Jim's only card is, say Jim had Ojutai's Command, Jim could actually counter gain 4, and then your lethal attack would no longer be lethal. So smart read on Tyler's side to just attack and make Jim move first.
Yeah, if Jim has Ojutai's Command there, you don't lose your creature in that exchange. He'd gain 4 and draw a card. So he'd go up to 9, back it down to 4, and then you're still presenting lethal the next turn.
Exactly.
So I like Tyler holding back there with the Mantis Rider. He's able to win game number 2 in very quick fashion. Jim with a lot of counter magic there, but nothing to counter as Tyler was already onto the board. So these players will get ready here for game number 3. We'll take a look at the sideboards one more time as these players look at each other's deck list and just see, does anything change here for Jim Davis or Tyler Winn player draw, as both players considering going back to the drawing board?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So you look at Jim's strategy and the kind of hand he kept there. I don't think he actually needs to change the strategy now that he'll be on the play for game 3. If you put Jim on the play for that last game, it's so different. For example, suddenly those dissolves all start catching all of Tyler's Mantis Riders. I mean, I believe you just give them the same hands and have Jim go first. It's very possible that Jim wins that game, even though it looks so one-sided as it played out.
Yeah, well, just the way the counter magic lined up, it lined up so bad for him on the draw. If he's on the play, life is actually probably pretty good.
All the counter spells hit the creatures on curve. It's a different story. He still takes 2 off Soulfire Grandmaster, but that's manageable. He can take 2 for a lot of turns.
Well, these players will shuffle up here. Tyler Winn does win game number 2, so Jim Davis will be on the play game number 3. Perhaps the counter magic lines up appropriately for Jim in game 3. But in the meantime, we will discuss Grand Prix Atlanta, the big GP that's coming around the corner, November 13th through the 15th. StarCityGames.com/GP Atlanta. For all the information on the mini site, you'll find out that we've got the main event, which will be Battle for Zendikar Sealed, and then we've got Commander aficionados coming out. That's Benny Smith, MJ Scott, the Commander versus video team, and then the Godfather of Commander, Sheldon Menery. There'll also be some meet and greets, some seminars. There's a lot to do, a lot of fun to be had. So go to StarCityGames.com/GP Atlanta. That's the mini site with all the information. Get pre-registered now. Get that out of the way. Get the prizes for registering as well. #GP Atlanta for all your social media needs, and we'll see you November 13th through the 15th for what's going to be one heck of a tournament to close out our year as far as Grand Prix are concerned.
Definitely looking forward to it. Playmat art there. I mean, interesting. I think she's trying to reach the opposite cliff there, which I couldn't do. That's way too high.
Seems super easy.
It's really far away.
That's relatively far away. You should have some confidence in yourself, man. Think
positive.
positive.
I don't like heights.
Think positive.
Just
It's the power of positivity, Matthias.
Okay, all right, all right.
All right? Now, I know you can get over there. It's the power of positivity, my friend.
I mean, it's far enough away that it's not even on screen what she's looking at. She's looking past the part we can see.
Oh, you don't think she's trying to jump towards that one?
No. It's like all the way off to the left, off the side of the playmat. She's looking at something that's even farther than that.
All right, well, I'm a little less positive. But again, it's the power of positivity that will get her there. November 13th through the 15th, we'll see you there at Grand Prix Atlanta as we get ready now for game number 3.
2 quick affairs there. First one, Tyler Winn on 5 cards, was not able to have too much action. Game 2, really a lesson in tempo. Jim with all the answers, but they were all 1 turn too late. And you do feel like once Jim was 2 creatures behind, I remember feeling this way even with Revelation Blue White a year ago. When all your kill spells were 2 and 3, they'd have 2 cards on the board, and you kind of felt that you almost felt like you were drawing dead. So even if I play a land and spell each turn, I just can't deal with these things fast enough. You know, I don't have a 1 mana removal spell. All my spells are 2 and 3, and if I answer whether I answer his play or his card on the table, there's still 2 more things I'm not answering, and I'm taking damage, and I don't know how to make this stop.
Yeah, it's kind of bad news either way. But again, this is the big difference between being on the play and on the draw. So we'll see if Jim can find a hand that he likes on the play and is able to make it look like game number 1, as we do have some updates here for you, in which Jory White did win game number 1 here over Daniel Dwan. So we've got Mono Red up a game over Obzon Aggro. And then our 3 versus 6, number 3 overall seed Ray Huang playing Obzon Control is up a game right now over Jasper Johnson Epstein.
That was surprising to see Epstein lose that one. As mentioned before, Ray playing Obzon Control, no hangerbacks and fleece mains in the main. Doesn't even have no clerics, no Drown in Sorrows in the sideboard. I mean, it's tough, but even though he's up a game, he just didn't really plan for mono red this weekend.
Well, you would think Jasper would get the job done, but there are good cards in Obzon to kind of slow Jasper down. Courser of Crewfix and Crew. We know how good those cards are.
Yeah, Coursers and Rhinos, they still gain life. They're great against red.
Yep. So both players going to take a look at the opener here. Jim going to get an idea, and he's happy with what he's working with. Looks like Tyler is too. And now here's a temple.
Both players on 7s. Can Jim use the tempo advantage here to get out ahead of Tyler's creatures? That'll really be the question. I'll be curious if Jim can control the early game, whether or not Tyler has action in the late game. I would assume the late game favors Jim, but after sideboarding, Tyler may be able to, you know, win in this middle area and not just, we saw him win by curving out at the beginning. In the mid game will be interesting if we go there.
Temple of Triumph here for Winn. Top card going to stay on top. We're going to head back Davis's way. Tranquil Cove, the draw. He's got a Flooded Strand on turn 2, so perhaps we're going to see a Jace here.
Yeah, did have a Cove deciding to play an untapped land. And this is the luxury he didn't have in game 2, to just not to tap out again on turn 2.
And it is time for Jace. Put Tyler Winn to the test right away, see if he has an answer. Well, he's sacrificing that Flooded Strand very quickly, so he's got something to do on turn 2.
Yeah, Tyler definitely has a 2-drop of his own, but this is a situation Jim's okay with, because starting on turn 3, he can, if he hits an untapped land, he can hold up Dissolves, start countering Tyler's plays, loot while doing it. Maybe he'll take 2, 4, even 6 off Soulfire Grandmaster, whatever 2-drop Tyler has, but that might be okay.
Well, it's a Jace war right now.
This will be interesting. So Tyler, instead on the damage plan, now we're going to start trying to value each other.
Davis will draw a copy of Radiant Fountain.
Looks like he has a Last Breath, a Dig Through Time, some counter spell as well.
It's time to activate. Draw a Plains and see what Jim wants to discard.
Heavy on lands, Jace will help with that though. This is interesting. Jim does not have a way in hand to deal with Jace if it flips. He can hold up Dissolve, and then on Tyler's end step, if Tyler doesn't play anything into the Dissolve, he can Last Breath away the Jace.
Radiant Fountain was the land. Jim gains a little bit of life past the turn back. Tyler's going to activate his Jace. Tyler's draw for the turn was a Master of the Unseen. Very powerful card against Jim's deck.
Well, what I really like about Tyler's hand, though, is he has found a copy of Negate. So on turn 4, he can play Mastery and Negate with Negate up. You see, that's what he's going to build toward. We saw in the last round of the Swiss, Jim defeat Mono White Devotion by never letting him hit a Mastery of the Unseen on the table. He paid a ton of respect to that card. If things play out how I believe they are going to, Tyler will get to resolve a Mastery, and Jim will have to win through it. And that'll be interesting to see whether or not he's able to.
Well, last breath took care of Jace. Tyler could have fought over that with Negate, chose not to, so it's very clear that he's on this Mastery plus Negate plan, at least for right now.
Right.
3 cards in the graveyard here for Davis, so Jace is close to flipping. Tranquil Cove will be the land that Davis plays. He's up to 22.
And here's the tough part. Say Jim loses the counter war over the Mastery Negate. And then he untaps, maybe Banishing Lights the Mastery. Tyler has a follow-up in Dragonlord Ojutai.
Here's Jace again.
All right, so not going for the enchantment just yet. He wants to get his Planeswalker online. Question is if Jim will counter. If Jim counters, it means Tyler gets to have Mastery and keep the Negate.
Jace's a great way to lead off here because realistically,
Yeah.
it's a threat where if it resolves, great, and if it doesn't, that's all right too. It's not actually the prize here.
Yeah, great job. He's stranding Jim's Clash of Wills as well. And this is interesting. It's the dissolve. Tyler can either negate the dissolve or he can just let this happen and cast Mastery.
Oh, there goes Jace.
Enchantment, I believe now. That shows that that's the real prize.
Top card going to go to the bottom here for Davis. Yeah, now the window is open for Master of the Unseen.
So there we have it. Got one, finally makes it onto the battlefield against Jim. Now what Jim has going for him is his Jace is going to flip into a Planeswalker here. Tyler's been unable to contest Jace, so Jim gets a lot of good card draw out of that. Has cards like Dig Through Time in his hand, Last Breath. He has a lot of answers, and while Mastery is really good at running away with the game, it does it very slowly, so Jim will have time to cash in these extra cards. Maybe find Banishing Light, Glare of Heresy, and not have to care about Mastery. But he'll have to do it.
Looks like Jim's going to discard a copy of Last Breath here. So now Jace will flip. Time for Jim to take a draw step. What's he find? Elspeth, powerful card. One that makes smaller creatures than Master of the Unseen, but doesn't cost any mana to do so.
So just a quick thing. If Jim's going to tap Jace to loot and flip the Jace, he probably wants to wait until his main phase so that he can draw an extra card and have a better loot.
A small thing, but may have missed out as far as a little bit of card advantage, a little bit of a decision point there.
Yeah, if the card he drew for his turn was a real loser and worse than the Last Breath he discarded, then that's the play he would have preferred to make.
Yeah. Fortunately for Davis, the draw wasn't Elspeth, so he's got something to work towards here.
Yeah, I think it ends up leading him to the same place. His draw was pretty good.
Davis going to tap 3 mana, and it looks like it might be time to Dig Through Time here for Jim.
Does have 5 in the graveyard. He'd exile everything to do that. Show some weakness on Jim's side. He does have a Clash of Wills, which he could hold up for Tyler's next play, except Mastery means Tyler's not going to play anything into a bunch of open mana.
Yeah, it seems rather unlikely that would be the case. Davis is trying to figure out how much he wants to pay for Dig Through Time.
Right, because he has Jace in play, it means that flashing back Dig Through Time is a pretty reasonable thing to have happen. So if Jim can pay an extra mana to preserve a card in his graveyard, that's something that he's interested in.
Well, top 7, going to take 2 with him. So we'll see what he wants to take, looking at Negate, among other options.
Yeah, he's looking for Glares and Banishing Lights, something that those are his answers to Mastery. Maybe a Revoke Existence if he's boarded it in.
Which I would have to imagine he did.
Yeah, it's a lot of respect for this card last time. Now the danger here is because Jim is now tapping out main phase. If Tyler has another untapped land, he can just play Dragonlord Ojutai next turn. I believe he has all that set up.
Yeah, he's got a basic mountain in his hand so that he can play Ojutai if he'd like to, and then he's coming at Jim from 2 different angles.
Yeah.
One is Dragonlord Ojutai, the other is kind of the inevitability that Mastery provides. So,
I mean, this is greatly... I mean, think about this from Tyler. That Jace he played also preserved his Negate. So if he gets Ojutai in play, then the turn he attacks with Ojutai, he'll have a Negate to back it up.
Evolving Wilds is the land there for Jim. Jace the draw here for Winn. I think if you're Tyler, it's tough to pass up on Dragonlord Ojutai right now.
Great card. You even have ways to protect it.
But he will pass up on the ability to cast the dragon.
All right, so Really going for that value game of Mastery of the Unseen.
So quick updates here for you guys. Jasper has tied things up with Ray Huang. So Mono Red and Abzan getting ready here for game number 3. So we'll see who's able to win that one.
Big draw here for Jim for the turn. He didn't find it off dig through time, but his top deck was a Glare of Heresy. So Tyler going to be rewarded for not playing Ojutai. If Jim goes for the Glare, we might have a counter fight over it with Tyler's negate.
Well, it looks like Glare of Heresy is going to be cast here. Going to go after the Mastery. And we're not going to have too big of a fight. It's just going to be an activation of Mastery and let the Glare resolve.
Wow, okay.
Tyler is valuing that negate very highly.
Tyler's playing like this game is going to go on a long time.
Yep. The other update that we do have for you guys, Sam Bratz playing Sultai Control with Demonic Pact is up a game right now for Michael Burnett, who's playing Blue-White Control.
Kind of thought that might happen. Though the Sultai Demonic Pact deck, not something you normally see. I do think in a control mirror, the tools it's bringing might be something that Blue-White is not prepared for.
What are the chances Jim is on the mill plan? Just saying.
Unlikely. You meaning like to make a Jace emblem?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Tyler does not have many ways to deal with Jace here. And now that the Jace is getting up to 8, it's becoming more and more likely.
Tyler's not doing very much. I think Jim actually finally gets to use his Clash of Wills.
Yeah, Tyler's going to go for an ends up dig through time. I mean, pretty certain that one won't resolve.
Yeah, Clash of Wills has been pretty bad so far, so it actually gets to do something here.
Yeah, Jace is holding off the Manifest. Maybe you're right.
Rabble Master was the draw.
Well, that will make it tougher to be on the Jace mill plan. Tyler has negate up when he goes for the Rabble Master. Ujatai's command, Elspeth, and negate in Jim's hand.
Yeah, these players are kind of jockeying for position right now, but eventually we're going to see some fireworks here, and I think it might be this turn, because Jim's looking at Ujatai's command, Tyler can negate that back, and then Jim can untap and play Elspeth, and then Tyler can untap and play Dragon Lord Ujatai. We're going to see some stuff here, I think, in just a moment.
It's a big fight. At the end of the day, if that's the progression of things, I like where Jim is. Elspeth is great in that sort of game.
Tyler actually going to end up using Disdainful Stroke to take care of Ujatai's command. Rabble Master going to come in, make a Goblin, knock Jace down to 7. And now it's time to untap.
That Manifest member did not attack because it was a 0-2 from Jace last turn.
Looks like Ujatai's command was the draw yet again. However, it might be a great time to play that Elspeth.
You got to deal with Rabble Master. When you don't have a kill spell for it, I mean, it's tempting to leave up double counterspell on Jim's strategy were the board a little more manageable than this. But he needs to not take tons of damage, and Elspeth looks like the way to do it. The worry is if he plays Elspeth and say Tyler just has a Glare of Heresy, a card that's certainly within Tyler's range, Jim's in a bad spot. This Elspeth is his only threat. He doesn't have much card draw to reload. If he wanted more card draw, he could minus the Jace, but as you said before, he may just be on the plus plan with Jace.
There's Elspeth.
Right. The Suns champion on the battlefield again. When Jim has played this in the past, it has won him the game every time.
This is going to move up to 8. See what Jace wants to target. Jace and Elspeth side by side, just like they should be. We've seen it for so many years now.
They are best friends in control decks.
Manifest will be hit by Jace's plus, so it'll have -2/-0. It'll be an 0-2 coming into the turn. Now we go back Tyler's way. He's got a Jace in hand, a negate, a Dragon Lord Ujatai, and now another land in Battlefield Forge.
He needs to get at the Jace. If that makes an emblem, it will be bad news for him. He also needs to get rid of the Elspeth. So he's looking to try to find cards like Banishing Lights or a Glare of Heresies, just things that can answer them. He's boarded out most of his burn is one of the problems here. He can cast Ojutai, but that would only get an Elspeth minus.
Yeah, it doesn't really accomplish all that much. Goblin token going to be made here for Tyler. Going to attack Elspeth, and I'd be surprised if Jim isn't on the defend mode here with these soldier tokens.
Yeah, you feel like Tyler's behind now.
Yep.
If Jace, we said if either of these Planeswalkers survives to make an emblem, I don't know that Tyler can get through it.
Battlefield Forge is the land there for Winn. Pass the turn back. Dragon Lord Ujatai negate in hand. fresh Jace, though it's not active just yet. And now Davis going to untap with 6 lands, take a draw step here. He found a Flooded Strand to go along with his Ochtai's Command and his own negate. Well, we have our first match over with, and that's Jory White playing mono red aggro, defeats Daniel Dwan playing Abzan aggro. So being on the play with mono red aggro, a very popular and very powerful thing to be doing.
Talked about that. Jory White, one of our top seeds for the tournament, being on the play. He's ensured his half of the mono red semifinal. Will he play Jasper Johnson Epstein in the mirror, or will it be Ray Huang there in game 3? Jory and Jasper actually met during the Swiss portion. It was a win and in for top 8. Jory took the win there.
Jasper may be looking for a little rematch.
I could see that. I talked to him. He was not happy how he played in their first matchup. Imagine he'd like another shot at it.
Jace going down to 5. Gonna flash back a Last Breath to take care of Jace.
No,
Tyler finally gonna use that negate.
no Jace on Jace violence here.
Well, Jim gets to decide if that's true or not.
That's fair.
Jim's the one with the negate in hand now. We'll see if he wants to use it.
And this is a real position of power from Jim's side. If things were closer, he could have tried to go for a Jace emblem. You see him now minusing the Jace to try to just further cement his lead. If he believes that his Planeswalkers are well defended, he just wants to start cutting out Tyler's outs, which is why you see him going after the Vryn's Prodigy.
Negate will resolve. Last Breath will resolve now. They'll take care of Jace. Tyler will gain some life, but Jim doesn't seem to mind, as now he'll play a Flooded Strand. He's got an Elspeth he has already used for the turn. That's why it's on 6. Jace has been used. Now he passes the turn back over to Winn.
2 walkers in play, plenty of counters on each of them.
There's a Goblin token. Here come the attacks towards Elspeth. We'll see how Davis wants to use these soldiers.
He has to entertain the possibility that there's a creature under this manifest. It seems unlikely, but it's not impossible. So he'll overblock on it.
Well, we'll find out what the manifest is soon enough, as it's going to hit the graveyard. It was a Wild Slash, so nothing doing there. The follow-up is Dragonlord Ojutai. Davis got that covered with Elspeth going down 3 counters.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great for Tyler. I think the upside is it means that Jim spends a turn minusing the Elspeth, and right now the plan was to plus Elspeth up to an emblem. That said, things are still under control for Jim. He's taking care of Tyler's board, and he's not losing his Planeswalkers. When he untaps, his last card is Ojutai's Command. That'll get him a lot of value. And his draw is Glare of Heresy, a great insurance policy against Tyler top-decking Mastery.
Yep. Can't take care of the Dragonlord Ojutai, of course, but it'll do something down the road, you have to imagine.
Will we see Elspeth -3? Means the game will go on longer, but Jim's not letting go. If that's Jim's play, it should just work. Tyler down to 1 card in hand. We know the card is Soulfire Grandmaster.
There's an island.
So, Jace has not been used yet. Jim with a lot of things to target in his graveyard. He still has a Dig Through Time in his yard that he has yet to flashback. Because he's getting a lot of mana and in play, we may see that happen. I still think we're a couple turns off from it. That's the end game for Jim. If he answers everything on the board and then flashes back Dig, he should take it down.
He's going to slow down Goblin Master, minus Elspeth, take care of Dragonlord Ojutai, and really just hope nothing too bad happens this turn.
Right, so he's trying to make sure that Tyler cannot assemble enough damage to kill either Planeswalker. See the attack here? It's a 1/2 Rabble Master and a 1/1 token at Elspeth.
So Elspeth will fall down to 2. Now here's a Soulfire Grandmaster.
And if Jim lets him have this, there is the possibility that Tyler starts using the activated ability on Grandmaster to recur spells. Jim does have a copy of Ojutai's Command in hand. This is a creature spell, so it's a good spot to use it. It may not be the best spot, so we'll see how much Jim cares. I think he either can Ojai's command it, or he can untap and Glare of Heresy it.
Well, Jim's going to let it resolve for now. He'll take a draw step. Hit them another copy of Radiant Fountain. So life total could be moving to 25 here in just a moment for Davis. But he's in some pretty good position right now with those active Planeswalkers and Answers in hand. He'll start by moving up Elspeth, so 3 soldiers, 1 under the battlefield.
Yeah, starts recruiting an army again. Last one traded away with Tyler's creatures. Long way up to 7, but Elspeth's up to the job. Chris, he might not even use the Glare. I'd be surprised, but plays available.
Yeah, I mean, he may not be that scared of Soulfire Grandmaster. Soulfire Grandmaster can do a lot, don't get me wrong. It's a very powerful card, but he might not care that much.
The worry would be something like activate Soulfire, cast Glare of Heresy on Tyler's turn. I don't think Jim wants to see that, because then he can't even counter.
Well, he'll Glare of Heresy away the Soulfire Grandmaster, so he's not have to worry about that too much anymore.
And remember, if Tyler does draw something like the other Mastery of the Unseen, Jim still has the Jace in play, so he can give that Glare of Heresy flashback and take care of it that way. He's not actually leaving himself cold to white permanents.
Jace's going to fall down to 3. Something's about to be flashback. Looks like it's going to be dig through time.
That's the dig we were looking for. Doesn't mean he's taking down mana for his Ojai's command, but he'll be getting a lot of cards.
He's able to leave a Glare in the graveyard. And now he gets to take a look at the top 7 and take 2 with him, as Winn is only sitting there with the land in his hand. So Davis starting to pull away here in the late game as he's found another copy of Dig Through Time, and Elspeth, a Clash of Wills. A couple of lands over there as well.
Yeah, 2 digs, a Clash, and Elspeth and lands. Tyler only has 6 lands in play, so Clash of Wills is still serviceable here. This was a weak dig. Jim very well may just take another dig in one of these permission cards. Looks like he'll go for dig and second Elspeth. Makes sense. Right now, were a Glare of Heresy to happen, Jim doesn't have a counterspell for it. The Elspeth would just leave, so having a backup Elspeth is, in a way, Jim's counter to Glare of Heresy.
Winn with a Temple. See where that top card goes. It's going to the bottom now.
Just a land in hand for Winn, scrying to the bottom. Goblin token attacks, trades one away, and it looks like Jim Davis has done it.
And he's fully turned the corner now. Now it's just about how do I want to win the game? How do I get pure control of the game? As we've watched Jim in round 15, he started just chaining together dig through times to find counter spells and really lock you out with this combination of Planeswalkers as the win condition, and that's what he's trying to do yet again.
Yeah, Jim just making it official. His draw for the turn was a Dissolve. So now he has a hard counter in his hand, a backup Elspeth, a Ojai's command, and then another dig through time. Those are the tools he's going to need to close this out. We'll see whether or not how long Tyler wants to go through with it.
The follow-up is a Mantis Rider. That's the last card in hand here there for Tyler. Ojai's command is going to take care of that. Jim will probably just counter and draw a card.
Absolutely, 25 life, no reason to pick something else. Draws negate, it's beautiful.
Block the Goblin, lose the Soldier. Pass the turn back. At this point, Rebel Master is going to continuously be in 0-2 because of Jace. So not only can Jim attack into it, but Tyler can't attack back with it because it's never going to grow to a relevant size.
Yeah, it can become a 1-2 because of its Goblin that it attacks with it, but Jim will certainly gang up on it with Soldier tokens if Tyler ever sends it into the red zone.
Elspeth will move up to 5, 3 more Soldier tokens run into the battlefield. There's a Temple. Take a look at the top card. It's going to be moving to the bottom. And we're going to head back over to Tyler. But Jim's got him in the stranglehold right now, and it's very difficult to get out of this from blue-white. When they've got these 2 Planeswalkers rolling, and then you've got a hand full of counter magic. This is how blue-white control draws it up every time. And what you have to do to get out of this is what Tyler did last time, which was get some threats on the board early where they can't counter all of your stuff and then stabilize.
Right. And now you see Tyler trying to get out of it, tries to cast Dig Through Time, Jim ready with the negate. He still has a Dissolve in hand. Same play repeats itself. Tyler swings the Goblin, Jim trades it with the Soldier, untaps, pluses both his walkers, and goes again. He's going to even Dig Through Time end step. It's safe because Tyler has no cards.
It's on the hunt for more counter magic, I'm sure.
Yeah. This is just a formality. Both players know.
We got another update here for you guys. Jasper Johnson Epstein. does win his match here over Ray Huang, 2-1. So we got a mono red mirror on one side. Jasper looking for a little revenge against Jory White.
That'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah. That'll definitely be the match that we start off with, because it's a mono red mirror, so we'll definitely have time to jump over to the other side.
Well, it looks like we're going to have Jim Davis with blue-white. It may be blue-white mirror and a mono-red mirror, unless Sam Bratz can throw a wrench in that with his Sultai Demonic Pact deck.
Goblin token will bite the dust yet again. Jim working his way towards that emblem. Look at all these soldier tokens he has, 8 of them to be exact, as he takes another draw. Banishing Light the draw.
No reason to cast that one. He can if he wants to maybe speed up the process here.
And blue-white looking impressive again. It has looked like the deck of the weekend. You look at the top 8, mono-red, its matchup's been fantastic there. So it is the Sultai deck that might stand in the way of blue-white cruising through, either in the hands of Jim Davis or Michael Burnett.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot.
This deck's been great.
Yeah, for mono red to beat blue white control, it's going to take a lot, given what we saw earlier. As you see Tyler extend the hand. Jim Davis is going to win this match here over Tyler Winn. Blue white control takes care of Jeskai Aggro, and for Davis, he's moving on to the semifinals, looking to get one step closer to his second Open Series title this year. So congratulations to him, and congratulations to Tyler Winn as well on what has been a fantastic tournament. He's been in first or second place all day long, but it looks like he just ran into a tough matchup here and a tough opponent in Jim Davis.
Yeah.